She had her husband apply sunscreen before letting him go play in the ocean. But after waiting on the rocks for quite a while, he still hadn't returned. She quickly asked the young couple next to her, but they said they had never seen her husband. Lisa had no choice but to call her husband, but his phone showed it was turned off. So Lisa threw on a jacket and ran to the beach. But after asking every tourist she could find, she still couldn't learn her husband's whereabouts. Fearing he might be in danger, she turned to the beach lifeguard for help. They then set out in a speedboat to search for him. But after circling the waters all day, they couldn't spot a single floating object. It had been nearly 2 days since her husband went missing. So Lisa had no choice but to go to the police station to file a report. But when the police heard her story, they burst out laughing. Since the beach was so small, and they hadn't found anyone in 2 days, it must mean her husband had gone off to have an affair. The officer told her to go home and wait for news, but she had already been waiting for 2 weeks. During that time, she came to the beach every day to wait for her husband, but he never showed up. That evening, the hotel phone suddenly rang. At first, she thought it was her husband, but when she answered, she realized it was a sales call. Lisa sank into despair. By then, summer vacation was over, and as a teacher, she returned to campus. To her surprise, the lifeguard from the beach turned out to be a new student at her school. He kept striking up conversations with her, and even invited her to dinner. But Lisa flatly refused him, because she was convinced her husband was still alive. When she got home, Lisa opened her husband's computer to look through old videos. To her surprise, she discovered a woman appearing on the screen, and the way she looked at her husband seemed off. Lisa suspected she might be involved with her husband. The next day, Lisa received a call from the police, saying a man's body had been recovered from the ocean. Hearing this, Lisa's blood ran cold. She feared the worst had happened to her husband, but when she went to identify the body, she discovered the deceased was not her husband. When the police officer saw poor Lisa, he mentioned a previous case. A woman's husband had mysteriously gone missing, but years later he suddenly returned home. It turned out he'd been having an affair all those years. Lisa was heartbroken when she got home. She thought of that woman again, so she opened her husband's computer. She discovered that every time her husband took a photo, that woman was in the picture.